Let's get nerdy, folks. It is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. and we are here with Monday Night Nerd. Thank you all for joining me. I greatly appreciate it when you come along and say, howdy ho. It has been a heck of a week. It has been a heck of a weekend because I was at London Comic Con, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining. My name is Myers Corp Cosplay. I've been a cosplayer for 5-6 years now. I've been a nerd since birth. I've been a nerd, cosplayer, wrestling fan, music fan, movie fan, whole bunch of stuff. This channel and this show is just talking about nerdy stuff every single week. If you like that type of stuff, press the like button, press the share button, press the subscribe button, press all those little buttons that make the YouTube algorithm and the Facebook algorithm say, hey, this guy's doing a good job. We should show more people this stuff. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could. Thank you very much. That's my cheap plug for the week. Anyways, welcome one and all. We're going to talk about London Comic Con. I was there only for one day, unfortunately. I woke up on the Sunday and I was not feeling too good, so I only have a little bit to talk about on London Comic Con, but it's still important because it was a great con. We're going to talk about that, but let's start with the news first. I got a couple of news articles. First, I saw a movie this weekend that I have been waiting to see for a long time. It has been on my list, and a good friend of mine, Edith, was able to show me this movie. I crashed at her place for London Comic Con, and she was like, we should watch a movie. And I said, what should we watch? She said, we should watch this movie. And the movie was Get Out by Jordan Peele. I had seen Nope in theaters months ago when it came out. Some friends wanted to see it, and I was like, I need to see the rest of his stuff. And it was one of those ones that I never got to see. So finally, I got to sit down and see Get Out. It was really good. Jordan Peele is one of those directors, and it's really cool to see that he had such a great humor career with the Key and Peele show and everything they've done with it. And now he's transitioned to this thriller horror director with Get Out and Us and Nope, and he's done some other stuff. Like, he is the epitome and the walking humor and tragedy masks of dramatic arts. It is perfect. He does such a good job at crafting an experience that you would never think of. Like, when I saw the trailer for Twilight Zone, thank you, Megan, greatly appreciated. When I saw the trailer for Get Out, I knew you can kind of tell what it is. I mean, it's a African-American guy going into meet the parents of a Caucasian woman, and you can kind of tell something's up with them, but you don't know what. So I kind of knew what was going to happen, but once we got into the movie, I went, oh, this twist is not what I saw coming. And it was a really good twist. And what I was expecting an ending to be very, I don't want to spoil it. I thought it'd be more evenly matched. Or no, let me take that back. Not evenly matched. That's the wrong term. I thought it would be really towards one way of going when it came to an ending, and it wasn't. It was the complete opposite, and it was the better version. And it was something that I could see a studio looking at and going, I don't like the way you're writing it. I think we should do it more in have like a big fight at the end, or have them, gang up and stuff like. And it wasn't. It was the complete opposite, and it worked perfectly. It was a great time. I got to watch Us at some point. Maybe I got to go hang out with Edith again to watch that, because it seems like it's the only time I'm able to watch a horror movie. Even when I have time here, I don't watch horror. I watch something else, and I kick myself at the end for not watching it. But Get Out was great. I will admit I liked Nope a little better, only because when I saw the trailer for Nope, I had no idea what it was about. You have a kind of idea, but it was a completely different movie than what I thought it was. So it was such a good film. Get Out was great, though, and I can't wait to see what Us is like. So Jordan Peele becoming one of my favorite directors. hilarious in his show, in the Key and Peele show. Now he's an incredible director. I can't wait to see what he does next. We're going to do a little bit of a first impression here. I am a giant Lego fan. And let me take that back. I'm not a giant Lego fan, because when people think of giant Lego fan, they think of a wall behind me of Lego. I'm not a giant Lego fan. I'm a Lego fan, though. I have played and platinumed pretty much every Lego game there is. I've loved the Lego video game series, especially since the first Lego Star Wars game came out. And actually, I'll go even further back. I was addicted to Lego Island on the PC when I was a kid. I played that game over and over and over, even though it was like a 15, 30-minute game. I loved it. So every year to every 2 years, a new Lego game comes out. They've done Lego Star Wars. They've done Lego Jurassic Park. They've done Lego Indiana Jones. They've done Lego Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Harry Potter. I've never seen all the Harry Potter movies. I've never seen all the Lord of the Rings movies, but I have played the Lego games, so I kind of understand what happens in them. And now they've released the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which is episodes 1 through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's been 4 or 5 Star Wars games. The first one was 1, 2, and 3, the classics. And then they did 4, 5, and 6. And then they did 1, 2, 3. And then they've done other ones where they've added the latest movie. Like the last one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the Force Awakens. But they didn't have the next 2. So this was the first one where we've had everything in it, and the DLC has Mandalorian, Bad Batch, everything that's been on Disney Plus. I've been playing it for a little while now. I probably played, let's say, 10 hours of it. It is the best Lego game I've played ever. And I know that sort of sounds like when iPhone comes out and says, we've got the best iPhone, because they've added 3 little things. I get how it sounds. But honestly, there's so many collectibles. The original Lego games didn't have dialogue. They just had motion and motion humor, no dialogue. But now they have dialogue, but it's redone dialogue with humor added to it, which I find really funny. Prime example, when Jango Fett gets killed by Obi-Wan, he doesn't get killed because it's a kid's game. He gets crushed by one of the creatures in the ring that they fight in. So little things like that are pretty funny. Like I said, there's tons of things to collect. One of the collectibles are these bricks that are throughout the galaxy. There's like 1,200 I have to collect. I think I've only got like 150 so far. And I've only got I think I've got episode 3, 7, 8, 9 to play through. So I've got so much to go through still. The flying, you fly in the jets or in the jets. They fly in the X-Wings and Falcons. You've got so many vehicles to fly in over the planets, which is really, really fun. It's something that no other Lego game, I believe, has done. The one criticism I have of it, though, is in the older games, you kind of went from important beat to important beat to important beat. So let's say in A New Hope, you had the droids, you had to get the droids, which was a section you had to play through. Then you were training, or you were, the Kessel Run, or not the Kessel Run, the going through the Death Star was another section. Then there was like 10 sections of the movie that they've broken up. This one, because there's so many movies, there's only 5, but there's a lot of travel points you have to go to that just have little videos, and then you have to travel back. And that's part that I'm kind of like, that's a bit of an issue. Because say, for example, in episode 1, when Amidala has to go back to her quarters, you have to travel from one planet through space to another planet, drop her off, walk her through the Citadel to her apartment, drop her off. Then you have to wait for Jango Fett to attack. Then you go through that mission, which is the actual mission. And then there's a little bit after, like, it's too much. I'd rather just go from point to point to point with a video in between. I feel like that walking part's a little too much. But honestly, overall, I think it was $30 for all of the DLC and the game. Great value if you're a Star Wars fan and you're able to take it with a grain of salt and have a laugh every now and then and don't take it too seriously. It's a fun time. Dash Rendar is not one of the characters in the game, which frustrates me a little bit. But anyways, that's my own little gripe because I'm such a Dash fan. But anyways, if you got a kid or you're an adult and you have a system, I think it's on every system, check out the new Lego Star Wars. It's really fun. I had a blast with it. I'm going to do a little bit of a gripe here. Now, as you are well aware, because of previous episodes, I am a wrestling fan. And as a wrestling fan, since I was a kid, I am a wrestling figure fan. Now, recently, they have been releasing what is called the WWE Elite Series. Now, the wrestling figures that you probably grew up with and I grew up with were very much basic motion. You know, the arms moved up and down, the head turned, and the legs moved. That's it. The Elite figures now have like 20 points of articulation. Give me 1 second. This being my Bret Hart that I purchased. So this is a pretty high quality figure, I must say. You know, the knees bend, the feet bend. It comes with separate hands. The glasses come off. It bends at the waist, which a lot of old figures didn't do. So this is pretty cool. So I will admit, based on what we had as kids and what we have now, is very different. Now, when I was growing up, wrestling figures were $9.99. That was it. They had one set, $9.99. Now they have that set that's very similar to what we had when we were kids, and they are $16, I believe. Inflation, I get it. These are $35 a piece. Now, again, this has a lot of motion and it looks pretty close to the actual guy. But $35 a figure is getting a little bit much. There's even one better than that. There are the Ultimate Elites, which come with extra clothing, extra heads, extra weapons, like a whole bunch of stuff. And they're like $50. Now, again, I get that inflation is higher than what it was when I was 10, and these are better toys, but I think we're getting a little outrageous when it comes to some of these prices. And the reason I say this is because I went to my local Toys R Us last week, and I picked up, give me a second. I picked up one of my favorite wrestlers and the man who taught me how to do yoga, Diamond Dallas Page, because I've always wanted a Diamond Dallas Page figure. And I'm so happy to have him. And I saw next to him was a Shawn Michaels. And I don't have an Elite Shawn Michaels. And I've always wanted one. But to get both of them, it would have cost $70. $70 for 2 wrestling figures. And I went, you know what? No. As much as I wanted that Shawn Michaels, I had to put it back because I wanted Diamond Dallas Page more. But also to walk up to a cashier and give her 2 toys that are $70, like, that's a little outrageous. And I start to think, like, I don't have kids, but if I did and they were a wrestling fan, they would probably think the same way I do and look at the basic figures that they have now, which are still just this, and look at this and go, I want that. And I don't know if I could afford buying them that to play with. Again, I don't play with these. These sit on a shelf up there. But for $35, if I gave that to a kid and that got damaged, I might go through the roof. That's just insane to think that that's what the price is for some of this stuff. Like even Lego. We're just talking about the Lego game. Some of these Lego sets are like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. Like it's getting a little. Again, value of everything, price of everything's gone up. But I just feel like, okay, folks, I give. Like this is a little too much for everybody's pocket. So, as much as I would love to buy a whole bunch of these figures, I really got to be selective on the ones that I want. So, DDP was one I've always wanted, and I finally got them. There's probably only one or two more figures that I'm ever going to get because I don't have the shelf space, first of all. B, I just can't afford it. Like, I just can't say $35 for a figure every now and then. But sorry, that's just my gripe for the day. It bugged me. Anyways, you know what? Let's talk about another gripe that's probably going to affect way more people than these wrestling figures. Landmark Cinemas today sent out an email saying that they are now going to be charging an online booking fee, similar to what Cineplex does. $150 for, or $150, wow, $1.50 for normal tickets. $1 if you're an extra member, and nothing if you're a member of the Extras Movie Club, which I believe is their paid subscription, or their Movie Insiders, which I also is another paid membership that they have. Now, the problem I have with this, and I'd love to know what everyone's opinion is, put it in chat so I can, I'd love to hear what you all think. If it was just a money-making thing, like I get people are not going to the cinema like they used to. Why don't they just do $1 extra for every ticket? Like, hey, we want to bring you the best customer service and the best movies around. We're going to charge an extra $1 a ticket. Okay, cool. Like whatever. That's, it's not the end of the world. It's an increase. But to do it this way and to do it with the words online booking fee, that rubs me the wrong way, especially when another ticketing company, Ticketmaster, is getting roasted every other week, it feels like, for having these crazy online fees. So what person at Cineplex and now Landmark has said, you know what? I see people complaining about having to pay extra fees on Ticketmaster, Airbnb, everything else. Let's add a fee. Like, I just don't get it. Megan said, yeah, it's expensive. That's an expensive ticket. Yeah, like an extra $1.50 is one thing. Oh, and by the way, this is every ticket. This is not per transaction. So it's not like I buy 4 tickets, I only have to pay $1.50. I pay $1.50 per ticket, but only online. If you go in there, you don't have to pay any fee. You just pay what the ticket is. It's like giving people the easiest. We're gonna give people a highway, and we're gonna let people drive on this highway, and it's gonna make their commute so much easier. And we're gonna promote this highway and tell everybody, hey, this is the way to do it. This is the way to go. You're gonna miss so much traffic. It's gonna be so much easier for you. Just do this. And everybody does it for a decade, and it just becomes everybody's regular routine, to the point where people forget that there's another road. And then they go, now we're going to charge you $1 a kilometer. You get people in this mindset of doing something and telling everybody, this is so much easier. And at some point you then go, we're going to make things so much more complicated. Edith said, even in a business standpoint, sounds like suicide for that industry. I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's suicide for the industry. I'm sorry if that's a trigger word for anybody. Tara says, oh my God, the fee is so dumb. Like, yes, people are buying online. It will just drive them by. Like, it is. it's such an odd choice, in today's market with, again, so many people complaining about fees for everything else. But also, you've just made the easiest thing that people could do to buy a ticket. You made it now the most complicated and the most inconvenience. Like what in the this is one of those situations where I would love for this to happen. I would love for them to sit back and go, okay, we're gonna do this fee, and we're gonna make everybody, you're gonna pay $1 or $1.50 online. What happens if everyone says we're not paying that fee anymore? We're now walking to the theater and we're buying our tickets there. You've only got 5 kiosks at the theater. So what happens if everybody shows up and there's lines out the door trying to get tickets? You're just going to frustrate people even more. Like, I don't know. And by the way, folks, I've read it from 1,000 different people. They don't make a ton of money on tickets. So I know this is something that they're going to bank. This is something I've read from so many different people who are in the movie industry and own cinemas and etc. The way cinemas make money is not from ticket sales, because I think it's like 80% of the first 3 months of a movie being out, that goes to the studio. That doesn't go to the cinema. The cinema only makes like 20% on every ticket sale. What they make money on is the most expensive and outrageously expensive thing in the theater. That's popcorn. Because popcorn is like pennies, but they charge $20 for popcorn because A, you want it, and B, it's the most markup they can make on anything. So this fee is going to Cineplex and Landmark now. So I guess people aren't buying popcorn as much because it's like $20 a bag. So I don't know. I'm still going to go to the movies, and I'm probably still going to book online, but I think everybody in chat's agreeing that it's like, just make something that's just across the board. Just say it's $1 increase. Like, just do it like Tim's does. It's $1 increase because we got to make more of it. Like, but how can you possibly show up to buy a ticket for something like Marvel or DC? Exactly. You can't just show up to the theater for Marvel and DC because they're always sold out so quick. So, and that's another thing. The amount of movies that are coming out now that are making good money, it's not many. I remember reading an article back in the day, and I got to say it was like a decade ago, and it was from one of the movie executives that said the only thing that makes money now in theaters is Marvel, DC, which I think they combined into comic book, animated, Bond, Fast for the Fast and the Furious, and Jurassic Park were like the 5 guarantees. And if you were anything else, it was such a pain to make a profit at the theaters. I think that's still kind of the way it is. Barbie and Oppenheimer are probably the 1 to 2 exceptions to that rule, but I can't think of much else. I'm really dying. Or Edith, yes, Edith, Disney I count as animated. That was animated, Disney, Pixar, Minions, stuff like that. But yeah, it was only like 5 categories when it came to, the hierarchy of movies, that if you're an indie movie, if you're something that's some random flick, you're probably not going to make much at the box office. So again, I'm probably going to go to the movies still. I've got to admit, I'm not really jumping for joy about much that's coming out right now. Oh yeah, Aquaman 2 trailer came out. I totally forgot about that till now. Yeah, let's talk about that. Aquaman 2 trailer came out. I'm probably not going to see it in theaters, unfortunately. It's, you know what? And I was talking to a buddy of mine today. I'm not out of the Marvel bubble yet. Like, I'm still interested in seeing all these Marvel movies. I'll probably go see Miss Marvel when it comes out. But DC, I'm just so done with. Like, there's not been, like, Blue Beetle, I was like, Aquaman, I just don't care. I really don't care. It's just, I don't know. I'm gonna go see the movies I want to, but sadly it's getting less and less because there's just less and less that I want to see. Anyways, that's enough about ticket sales. Let's One more news topic, and then we're going to jump into the main event, which is actually perfect because it probably will take me about a half hour to talk about London Comic Con. Hamilton Comic Con is this weekend. Are you going? If you're going, let me know because I want to see you there. I will not be cosplaying. I will be volunteering. I will be working with the celebrities and the celebrity line area as I do every single con. It's a blast there. I really do enjoy my local con. I don't have to pay for a hotel. I can just come home every night, which is really nice. But also, they've always really got a good amount of celebrities there that I'm not. There's a lot of celebrities they bring there that I'm not a huge fan of, but I've become a fan of because of interacting with them, which I always think is a cool thing about that Comic-Con. Like Niagara Falls has got a lot of big names. Like they've got The Undertaker, they've got Mick Foley, they've got, Freddy Krueger and all that. Hamilton seems to have a lot more of, I think they sort of schedule the celebrities similar to the shows that are on CHCH and more of the old shows, which again, I don't know a lot of. Like Chips is one of the big ones this year, and I'm not a big Chips fan, but I met Eric Estrada when he was in Niagara Falls a couple years ago, and he was a sweetheart and a half. He was such a nice guy, and I always enjoy Hamilton Comic Con, especially because it's so low key that you kind of have that little bit extra interaction with not only the celebrities if you're meeting them, but also with the fans. So I'm excited to be there. Like I said, Eric Estrada is going to be there. Danielle Harris is going to be there, who I finally get to meet as a Halloween fan. I've been dying to meet Mrs. Harris, and I'm so excited to meet her. Sean Wise Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks movies. I get to meet a Mighty Duck. Can't wait to meet him. Joseph Marcel, Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He is also a sweetheart. Christian from the AEW, the AEW TNT champion will be there. Hacksaw Jim Duggan will be there, and a whole bunch more. I'm so excited to be there. It is Saturday and Sunday at the Warplane Heritage Museum. I hope to see you all there. There is a cosplay contest. If you are a cosplayer, don't skip it because you don't think it's going to be high on cosplay. They do have a cosplay contest, and from what I heard last year, it was really, really good. Unfortunately, I'm too busy to ever see it, but from what I've heard from other cosplayers, it's really good. So if you're a cosplayer, don't skip on it because they do have a cosplay contest, and there are some really good cosplayers that go to that con. But I hope to see you all there. I'm going to be there all weekend. I will be there Saturday and Sunday, like I said, with the celebrities in the celebrity autograph area. Come by, say hi if I'm not running around with my hair on fire. And even if I am, come out, pat me on the head, put it out, and then we can yak for a second or two. That is all the news. I'm going to do a quick drink, and then we're going to jump into the sponsors. Everybody in chat, thank you all for joining. I greatly appreciate it. If you're enjoying the show, if you don't mind hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, hitting all those fun buttons that make the YouTube and Facebook algorithms say, this guy's doing a good job. I should send this to more people. It'll mean the world to me. I want to try and grow this as big as we can because I love doing this. I really just enjoy yakking. I got a couple shows coming up that I think a lot of people will be interested because we're going to have a guest for the first time. And it's not going to be a guest on Zoom. He's going to be right here. He might be right here on my lap, but he's probably going to be right here. And that'll be in a couple weeks. But for now, we're going to go over my sponsor. And it's the same sponsor every week because she's the most important sponsor. And that is my wife. My wife, I love her to death, and I would not be here if it wasn't for her. I would not be the person I am without her. I say it every single week. If you know her and you know me for real, you wouldn't believe how much she means to me, and you know that what I say is true. She is amazing. I love you, hon. Thank you so much for everything. I love you. You'll always be my sponsor. Thank you. How much do I have to pay to have him on your lap? Not much. You do not have to pay him much to have him on my lap. Edith knows who it is. You probably don't have to pay him anything, actually. He'll just push me out of the way. All right, let's talk about the main event, folks. Let's talk about London Comic Con. So this is my first London Comic Con. I had heard so many things about this con. I've heard it is cosplay central. I've heard it is a big indie, like a big small con. Like it's not Fan Expo big, but it's not small. It's like in the middle, which I appreciate. So this was my first time going. I'm in Hamilton, if you weren't aware, and I took the hour and a half drive to London, and drive was great. One of the things I really appreciated when I got there late. For those who don't know, I am not a morning person. I have a morning routine, and that morning routine is get up, have breakfast, relax. I am not a let's jump in a car as soon as I wake up, throw back some breakfast, and drive. Like, that's not me. So I woke up and I probably ducked out of here around 11, let's say 10:30, I believe, because I got there just after 12. And I got there, and as soon as I hit London, I kind of had that panic of like, oh no, where do I park? Because like the con started and it's been going for a while. Oh, I'm gonna have to walk a bit, aren't I? Parking lot right across the street from the RBC place, spot still available, which was great. I was really worried I would have to walk in Ghost Rider out in the sun, which was beautiful, by the way. All week, cold, cool temperatures. Saturday, fucking hot, which is perfect for a leather jacket cosplay and a big bunch of foam on your head. But yeah, parking was beautiful being right across the street. And it was a good sized lot. So I think even if they did get nutty, which they didn't, we'll talk about that in a bit, it still looks like there would have been a good amount of parking in the surrounding area. Met some this is one thing I really did like. I really liked when I got out of my car, I was still I had to get everything together. I didn't wear the leather jacket on the drive. I did wear the shirt and the jeans, but I did not wear the whole costume, obviously. So when I got out, I had everything in my tote. I took it out. I started putting it on. And as I was starting to put it on, I was looking over, and there were other cosplayers doing the same thing. There was a gentleman across from me who was doing Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. The female with him was Harley Quinn. There was I want to say a Batman to the other side of me, and we were all kind of looking at each other going, hey, that looks good, and hey, that looks good too. I've never had that at another con. I've never had that at Expo. I've never had that at Toronto Comic Con. It was a cool experience. Like, it really felt like, I don't know if they were from London or what, but it was really cool to have just, hey, nice to meet you. Hope you're doing good. Which actually I found out today when I hopped on social media that I have them on Instagram and I didn't even know it. So that was kind of cool. Then parking was thumbs up, and you paid $5. I paid $10. $5. Where did you park? Man. And yes, I could see the drive being low. I could see the drive being very, I can see the drive being kind of a pain for some, depending on how far you are. I was only an hour and a half, which was really nice. Throughout a podcast, and that was pretty good. But yeah, it was great getting there. It was great getting parking and didn't really have to fight, which was really, really nice. Went in there, and it was an interesting layout. So if you've never been, I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. When you walk in, it's sort of an artist alley area. And then there's an escalator going up, escalator coming down. And up on the top floor is your main convention area, I guess you'd call it. Which I thought was an interesting way to lay it out. Again, I've never been to this building, but having you kind of walk into the artist alley area was kind of cool. If you're an artist, that's a pretty nice thing to have all of your guests go almost right into all of your tables. I thought that was really nice, a nice choice for the convention. And I took a quick walk through there. I've seen so many conventions. I've seen so many artists and nothing against them. They all do amazing work. But as I say to everybody, I need to invest in walls before I invest in prints, and I need to invest in other things before I buy stuff. I'm actually, let me see if I can swing my, that thing there is the start of my pin collection. I didn't mean to start a pin collection, but I think I started a pin collection because I'm starting to gather, like, I think I've got 10 pins already for the past year that I've just slowly gathered. And as much as I love what these artists do, I'm not really interested in buying anything unless it's something crazy different that I've never seen before. But I remember walking through there and kind of going, I don't remember any of these artists. And I don't know if they're local and they just are really heavy on local artists, or if they are just ones that don't go to an expo or a Niagara or a Hamilton and are just London that way. But it was really cool to just walk through and go, oh, like, that's cool. Like, I wouldn't buy it, but I'm thinking, like, they do a good job here. I like that it's something different. That if you've been to half of the cons in my area, in the Hamilton area, you kind of see the same people with the same stuff. And again, nothing against them. I've just seen it 13 times now. But that was really cool. And like I said, I like the layout of the con because I had a lot of breathing room, which was a good thing as a cosplayer and also as a fan, but a bad thing because what I heard later was that the convention was competing with other local events, which sucks, but it kind of comes with the territory. I don't know if it was both days, but it was definitely the Saturday. I heard from a few people that there was a Renaissance fair going on and there was some other events going on. I think there was a big cosplay thing with a bunch of cosplayers in Toronto. So there's a lot of things going on that I think were competing with London. When it came to the cosplay side, guest wise, I don't know. It seemed pretty good to me, but I had heard from a few that it was supposed to be bigger and they were expecting more. So, but I liked having that breathing room. That was really nice. It was nice to not go to a con in a costume and feel like you're doing this, watching that you don't ping people with different things on your cosplay. I can just imagine Megan Secondhand Shoes could have been walking around with her big tentacles with Doc Ock and just smoking people in the head with them. But it was nice having that little breathing room. Megan, a very quaint con. I loved it. I've only done Toronto Comic Con. Honestly, it was a nice change of pace. It really was. It didn't feel like Hamilton. It didn't feel like Niagara. It felt like something different, and I appreciated that. Yeah, went through the con when I first got there. Went up to the Geeks and Co. folks, yacked with them for a little bit, which was really good to see them in their Predator suits, and Mr. Messiah Complex in his Batman costume. It was nice to yak to them. I asked them a couple questions that I've been meaning to ask them about transportation and storage of some of their costumes because I have some ideas of what to do with mine. I've kind of just thrown some in totes, but I'm wanting to see if they maybe had some other ideas. And they had a couple suggestions, which was really nice. But yeah, it was really cool to see them. Then walking through and seeing the celebrities. It was not a big stacked celebrity con, which again is not a bad thing. I know they had some folks from The Mandalorian. They had, I believe, the voice actor from Beast from X-Men, the animated series. Lou Ferrigno was there, who I haven't seen in a long time. When I first started going to Comic-Cons, if you didn't see Lou Ferrigno, you were like one in a million because every con he was at when I started. But slowly he's doing less and less. And I don't know if it's an age thing or whatever, or he's just going, I've done this so many times. But it was really nice to see him. It was really nice to see Jake Snake Roberts as a wrestling fan. It's always cool to see him. And it just seemed like I said, it was a little relaxed, which was nice. Keith Liu was our guest of honor. And you know what? He deserved it. He deserved it. He was lined up pretty good. I think Veronica Taylor, voice of Ash or Pikachu, which one? I can't remember. One of the Pokemon. She was there. She's always I lost my thing. Why did that happen? Anyways, that was weird. Yeah, so it was good to see them. It was good to see a bunch of celebrities that you don't normally see. I don't know again if they're considered they've done it so much that you don't see them as much, but it was nice to see them. Uh, honestly, it was Edith Diglett. She does Diglett? Really? Huh, Veronica Taylor does Diglett. That's interesting. And Ash. Thank you. And honestly, it was really the thing I have to say about the con was it was really nice to see happy, friendly people. And I'm not saying that against Toronto, and I'm not saying anything against Niagara or Hamilton, but it seemed like everybody was in a good mood, which I got to admit, after going to a con for 13 years, you kind of don't see that as much anymore. It was really nice to see people smiling and not seeing anybody complain and not seeing anybody being like, oh, this is too much. I can't stand the amount of people here. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was having a good time, it seemed like, even the celebrities. So that was really, really cool. My Ghost Rider cosplay was everyone loved it as always, which I was worried when I got there. When I pulled them out of the tote, I don't know if something was leaning on it the wrong way or if it was the heat, because if you're working with foam, heat just it moves after a while. And I walked up and I saw the skull and it goes off to the side like this. And I was worried I wasn't going to be able to straighten that thing back out, but it actually straightened out fairly easily, which I was, thank you, was grateful for. But as always, Ghost Rider is a great cosplay. To anyone who got photos of me without the head on, I apologize. I was just so bloody hot in that thing. Ghost Rider will be a regular for the next little while, but I don't know how long. I might have to rebuild the head just because it is such a hot cosplay to wear. I got to figure out some ways to modify it a bit because I just overheat so much of that thing. But it always does well, and I was so thankful for anybody that came up and took photos with me, anybody that came up and talked. There was another Ghost Rider there. We yacked a couple minutes about what he did on his. He has some lights through his chain. He's got some flames. He's got some flames coming out of his boots, which I was like, that's a cool idea. I never thought of that. But yeah, there was really cool meeting some cosplayers. Secondhand shoes. I got to hang out for a little bit. Megan in chat, I've been wanting to yak with her for a little bit about her Doc Ock because it is so cool looking. And just, people I haven't met before, which was really nice because at Expo, it's so big and there's so many people that you meet as many as you can, but you're probably passing them and not even realizing it because it's just so many. So it was nice to finally sit down and be actually be able to have a conversation with a couple cosplayers who I did run into. Who else did I run into? I also ran into Psychoanalysis cosplay. Her Valkyrie. She has a dope Valkyrie. I really enjoyed it. I loved her chain armor that she said she has like a chainmail sort of breastplate, but like the top of it, she's like, I tried to do plastic because she thought it'd be lighter, but then she said she realized that the plastic was actually heavier. So like the bottom part is metal, and it's cool because that's the part that moves the most. So it actually looks really good and it blends well. So I was really cool to see that. So I can't wait to see what she does next. The one thing I really did enjoy, so the con is, a rectangle, let's say. One wall has the celebrities, but in the middle, against the back wall, is the Q&A stage, which I haven't seen something like that at a con for a while. I want to say the last time I saw that was one of the first years I did Hamilton Comic-Con when it was down at the Hamilton Convention Center where you had 3 floors. It was kind of cool having that there because you had so many people crossing by and are stopping to watch the Q&A. which I don't think they would get if they had it in a room or if they had it off in a corner. It had a lot of nice cross foot traffic, which was really cool because you got to see so many. I saw a couple Q&As that I didn't think I'd be interested in. The Geeks and Co guys had a couple had a voice actor up there. I believe it was the gentleman who voiced Beast. There was a lip syncing contest, which I thought was pretty cool. And I just think that's a really cool idea. I think it does have to be monitored though, and I definitely think it will definitely depend on what the Q&A is. I know Expo tried to do something like that during the one after the pandemic where they only had the one floor, and it was in the middle of, and it just seemed weird. Like it was too loud was one of the biggest problems, but it was still a fun idea. And I think other cons could do something like that, obviously depending on spacing, but it was kind of cool. I like that little addition that I don't see at a lot of cons. Let's see. Felt very open. Yeah, not claustrophobic, which when I have the head on for Ghost Rider, it can get a little claustrophobic. So it was, like I said, nice to have a little bit of space to put my arms out and not feel like I'm going to be elbowing people and smashing into people. So again, I don't know if that was specifically layout. It seemed like it was, but I also heard that usually that con is twice as big or twice as full, but they had just so many other things competing that they just didn't have the people, which sucks. It really does. The only downfall I have for the con, has nothing to do with the con itself. It has everything to do with me. And that is, it's small. And again, this is a me problem. This isn't something that the con should take as a, they should change this. I have a problem with conventions now, and I call it the roller coaster effect. If you go to a theme park and you walk into that theme park and the first thing you do is go to the biggest roller coaster and you ride that roller coaster, every other roller coaster does not compare. It just happens. I've done Fan Expo 13 times now. So any other con is so small compared. And again, it's nothing to do with them. It's just Fan Expo, I believe, is like the third biggest con in North America. There's no way anybody compete with that. So when I got there, I kind of walked around the floor in about 20 minutes. But again, that's me. So it's not really a gripe. It's just I got nothing to buy. So that's not for me. I don't have kids, so I'm not having to, follow anybody around. I'm also not really hanging out with it. Like, I'm not bringing anybody with me. So it's not like I'm following somebody so they can go look around at stuff. It was just me. So that is my only gripe, is that it was such a small con that I was done it kind of like that. And I still hung out. Like I said, I hung out with Secondhand Shoes. I met some other cosplayers, and we just hung out, which was good for the day. But if you're someone like me who's done Fan Expo or something like that, New York Comic Con, San Diego, something like that, that's huge, and that you think that's the norm, you will probably be a little disappointed by this con because of how small it is. And that's kind of the way it is. Keith says, London used to be a bit bigger location, used to be at a bigger location, but that venue couldn't give the same dates every year and move to its current location. And that happens. That's probably one of the biggest problems I hear with any convention. I know Hamilton's had that issue. I personally, when it comes to Hamilton, and this is going a little off topic, I liked having it downtown at the convention center better than the Warplane Heritage Museum. The problem is the convention center has so many things going through there that trying to get that similar date every year is a problem. And the Warplane Heritage Museum, besides the museum, they're pretty much good with any date. So I can see that happening. I wish the con was a bit bigger, but again, that's personal. If I did go on Sunday, and again, I didn't go on Sunday because I wasn't feeling 100%, I probably wouldn't have been there long because although I did miss out on a bunch of different cosplayers, which kind of frustrates me. I know the Freakish Workshop was there that day, and London Group was there on Sunday, which kind of bummed me out that I didn't get to hang out with them. But yeah, if I did go on Sunday and it was very similar, I probably wouldn't have hung around very long because again, I kind of ran through the con pretty quickly. And the only other option is going hanging out with the Geeks and Co guys, which they're working. I don't want to stand by their booth all day and be like, hey, can you entertain me? Because that's not what they're there for. They're entertaining everybody else. But overall, I would give the final score for London Comic Con, I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It was a very good local con that I can't see any real faults in it besides my own personal, which is I've ridden the biggest roller coaster and everything else seems small. But yeah, great. Honestly, even the venue, like he said, it was at a bigger location. The venue was fine. Like I really didn't have a problem with the venue. I thought the layout was pretty cool. Have that Q&A stage right in the middle was pretty cool. So I had no problem with it, but I would give it a 7. And I will probably be back there next year. I'll probably be there. I'll probably only go a day. I'll probably find out from, cosplayers what day they're going to go, if they're going to go on the Saturday or they're going on the Sunday. And I'll probably pick one day and go. I don't know if I'll do 2 just because, like I said, it's just not enough con for me for 2 days, especially when I got to do a lot of driving. Like even my friend Edith, who I was staying with, like she's 45 minutes away. So it's still a 45-minute drive first thing in the morning. So it was, love smaller cons. Yeah. You know what? Exactly. You have to love these smaller cons because once you start loving the smaller cons, they will make money and they will get bigger and they will get bigger and they will get bigger. And it's a business. And that's what they're there for. It's a business in the end. And if we support local cons, maybe we'll have something to compete with Hamilton or Niagara or Expo. Maybe you never know. So I definitely want to go to some more cons next year. I was kind of my goal this year, and this is my addition for this year with London. So we'll see what next year is going to bring. Maybe trying to think of what else is around here. I'm running out of cons. I'm running out of cons that are basic. Like there's a lot of anime cons, but I'm not a big anime fan. So maybe we'll figure out another con. But yeah, I would give it a 7 out of 10. And I will probably go next year and I'll probably go for a day. And it was fun. It was really fun. Again, even the drive wasn't that bad. I was honestly worried that the drive was going to be like a pain in the butt because I'm not a big fan of driving. But it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Folks, that is it for the evening. One last thing before everyone jumps out. As I said last week, and as I said earlier in the pre-show, every week when I first started this, we did a Q&A. And I had people send me questions and I answered them. I'm kind of getting the same questions, which is no problem, but I kind of already answered them, so I don't want to keep repeating myself every week. But we're going to do something different. If anybody does have any questions, DM me on Instagram. I will definitely answer them. I'll either private message you or I'll do them here on the show if I think this will bring value to anybody. But the one thing I want to do, I have so many songs on my YouTube music list that I think people will love. And it's not just the music that I listen to on a daily basis, because on my phone, which is right here, I have so many Metallica, Kiss, Motley Crue, stuff like that. But the stuff I have on YouTube is different. It's stuff that I don't have all the albums for and all that fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is every week now, I'm going to tell you one song to listen to for the week and give it a shot. It's either a cool song that I really enjoy or it's from a really cool band that I really enjoy. And tonight's song is from a band that is in Toronto tonight, which I wish I could have gone to, but I have a course at work that I have to take and I cannot be exhausted in the morning. And I couldn't leave work to get there as soon as I needed to. That is Baby Metal. And the song is called Karate. It is one of my favorite songs of theirs. I'm going to make a playlist after the show on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to start posting these so you can go through and you can listen to all the songs from previous weeks. But check out Baby Metal Karate after this. I can't even explain what it is, but it's a cool song from a really cool band that's taking off in the metal scene, and it's really adorable and really fun. So check them out. And folks, if you can, like I said earlier, leave a like, leave a subscribe, everything you can to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world. I really want to grow this as much as I can over the next year because this is really fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Next week, I will be back to talk about Hamilton Comic Con because Hamilton Comic Con again is this weekend coming up. I'll tell you all the fun happenings that happen there. But until then, everybody have a great week, and I will hopefully see you at Hamilton Comic Con. And if not, I'll see you next week here on Monday Night Nerd. Take care, folks. We'll see you then. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.